Hello, in this video I'm going to show the importance and power of the Navamsa chart. We're going to see how the Navamsa chart of three major American politicians, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Bernie Sanders. We're going to see how the Navamsa chart is extremely important for them, for the relationship between them, for their platform, for the things they stand for. It's just extremely important. So we're going to see how this works. Now, a little background just very, very briefly. As you know, Barack Obama is a former president of the United States. Joe Biden was vice president while Obama was president. And in the year 2020, Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are running against each other in an election to become the nominee for the Democratic Party to be president of the United States. So, first, let's just look at this Navamsa chart. If you don't know what a Navamsa chart is or where it comes from, no worries. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But first, let's just look at this thing. There's a thing called a Navamsa chart, as it's called in Indian astrology. In Western astrology, it's often called the ninth harmonic chart. It's also called a nine vibration chart. So all of these terms, Navamsa chart, ninth harmonic chart, nine vibration chart, they're all the same thing. And we're not going to be looking at zodiac signs, so it doesn't matter whether we use the tropical zodiac or the sidereal zodiac. So let's look at this thing and show and see what it reveals to us. This is the Navamsa chart of Joe Biden. In his Navamsa chart, notice that Mars, Uranus, and Pluto are conjunct. They're within 11 degrees of each other. They spread from 13 degrees to 24 degrees. Now, I'm going to introduce you to some rules that we use in vibrational astrology. And one of the rules we use in vibrational astrology is that if the planets are within 16 degrees of each other, they're closely connected. And the closer they are, if it's only 1, 2, or 3 degrees, it's even more powerful. So there's a Mars, Uranus, Neptune planetary configuration. So in vibrational astrology, we say that Joe Biden has a Mars, Uranus, Neptune energy in the 9 vibration chart. He also has a connection of the Sun to the Mars and Uranus. You see this red line with this funny glyph, we call it? It looks like a square and a little L. It's showing that there's a connection between the Sun, a strong one to Mars, and a weaker red line going to Uranus. This means that the Sun is also connected to Mars and Uranus. This is based on vibrational astrology where we're seeing vibrations. And the Sun is 3/8 of a circle, what's called a sesquiquadrat aspect, a hard aspect to Mars and Uranus. If you're not familiar with the background theory, don't worry about it too much. It might sound wild and crazy and unbelievable if you're not familiar with it. But these are the ideas we use in vibrational astrology. When you see what's happening with Obama's chart and Bernie Sanders' chart and its relationship to Joe Biden, I think you're going to be impressed. And this is, of course, just one example that I'm using while we're in the year 2020 and Biden and Sanders are running against each other and people are interested in this particular topic. Okay, so let me review. In Biden's Navamsa chart, he has a Mars-Uranus-Neptune combination, and also Mars and Uranus are connected to the Sun. Okay, now by the way, if we want to look at Joe Biden's natal chart, I'll go here into the Series 3.0 software. Here is his birth chart. And what's happening in his birth chart is that Uranus is trine Neptune. Those are two slow-moving planets, so for quite a while they are trine to each other, but here the orb is only 1 degree. So Uranus at 2 degrees Gemini is trine Neptune at 1 degree Libra. Now Mars happens to be about 40 degrees from Neptune, and that 40 is 1/9 of a circle. That's why it's a 9 chart. We're taking ninths, and when we go to the Navamsa chart, also called ninth harmonic or 9 vibration chart, it collapses all of this together. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. Now, let's look at Barack Obama's 9 vibration chart. In his Navamsa chart, I may use these words interchangeably. 9 vibration, 9th harmonic, Navamsa, they all mean the same thing. So in Barack Obama's Navamsa chart, Sun and Mars are conjunct. Now remember that Biden also has a Sun-Mars, right? Let's go back to it real quickly. Sun-Mars, they're not conjunct, but there's a connection. So both Obama and Biden have a Sun-Mars configuration, a connection, an aspect between them. Okay, and in the case of Obama, the Sun and Mars are square Mercury. Okay, that's maybe not so impressive, big deal, so they both have a Sun-Mars in their charts. By the way, for Biden, we only have A accuracy data, and for Obama, we have AA, means it's from a birth certificate, just to mention how accurate these birth times are. Now look at this. Now it starts getting interesting. Here's a bi-wheel with Obama's 9 vibration chart. It says up here, inner ring, Obama, 9th harmonic. Outer ring, Biden, 9th harmonic. We're taking the Navamsa chart of Obama, the Navamsa chart of Biden, putting them in a bi-wheel. And the Sun-Mars of Biden and the Sun-Mars of Obama make an almost exact, perfect pattern with each other. So here it is. In the inner ring, there's that Sun-Mars conjunction of Obama, which is extremely strong. It's less than half a degree at late 22 degrees and early 23 degrees Cancer. Very tightly, almost exactly square, the Mars in Joe Biden's chart at early 23 Libra. And remember that red line in Obama's Navamsa chart? That we call it sesquiquadrat, that 3/8 aspect. There it is, and it's at the midpoint between Biden's Mars and Obama's Sun Mars, and there's the Sun. And I've drawn this pink rectangle to show this symmetrical pattern with the Sun halfway in between, at a midpoint between these. And this symmetry and this close connection, and it's very, very exact, it's all within about a half a degree of the Sun in both charts and the Mars in both charts. And in addition to that, in addition to that, it's Biden on the outside. Biden's Uranus is also involved, and Obama's Mercury is also involved. So there's 2 other planets. But what makes this really powerful is same planet. One of the rules we use in vibrational astrology is if you have the same planets, like if you have a Venus-Jupiter in your 9 vibration, and a friend of yours has Venus-Jupiter in his or her 9 vibration, and they overlap, this is the most powerful thing. You have the same planets, and what we call synastry, they overlap. So let me show you this again. Obama has Sun-Mars, Biden has Sun-Mars. Different aspects. For Obama, it's conjunction. For Biden, it's a sesquiquadrat. That's good. It's not that unusual, but it's very, very nice. But then they also overlap. It's beautiful. And Sun-Mars means take action. 9 vibration means community. It means our connectedness with the world around us, our neighborhood, our community. And it means people who will take action for the community, which is exactly what the Democratic Party is largely about, and what the entire career of Obama and Biden has been about, taking action for community service. And then they tie together perfectly. So I made a video some time ago where I showed this, and I said that Obama and Biden have a fantastic compatibility. Just wonderful, because it doesn't get much better than this. And, I just said it. I mean, Biden seemed to be doing fine as vice president. I didn't see any particular emphasis that they had such a wonderful relationship. But now, in the year 2020, as Biden is running for president, that close bond of Obama and Biden is now obvious. It's so obvious. It's one of the key driving forces in Biden's campaign. I think it's very, very clear. I'm making this video on March 5th. And so what I had seen there, we see their close connection on their shared motivation, interest, and drive in the way they connect together. Now, how about Bernie Sanders? He's an opponent right now of Biden. They're both competing to become the nominee for the Democratic Party, but they're both running for the Democratic Party. They both are emphasizing and that they're into community service. Bernie's is, you might say, more extreme, strong, less compromising, but they both are community service oriented. Now this is amazing. Let me go back for a second to all the way back to Biden's Navamsa chart. Biden has a Mars, Uranus, Neptune in the 9 vibration chart. We go to Bernie. He has a Mars, Uranus, Neptune. Both Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden have a Mars, Uranus, Neptune configuration in the 9 vibration chart. Different aspects, but it's the configuration. So one of the things we do in vibrational astrology is see what configurations are happening, what the planetary configurations in the vibration. They both have Mars, Uranus, Neptune. In this case, they're 30 degrees apart. You see these green lines. These are called semi-sextiles. And it's thick. That's thick with a very large glyph on it means it's nearly exact. So one of the things in vibrational astrology is we just look at the lines. If it's big and thick and there's a big, large glyph on it, it means it's strong. You don't have to look at the degrees. You don't have to figure out the orbs. Just see if the lines are there, and if they are there, are they strong? And this is ultra strong. So both Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden have Mars, Uranus, Neptune configurations in the Navamsa chart using the ideas of vibrational astrology. This means they both have a vision, a dream, an impatience, a kind of zeal, you could call it, this huge enthusiasm to shake things up and do something. It's almost a kind of like religious path for them to do Mars, Uranus, Neptune in 9 vibration for the community, to heal, to bring people together and make communities work with a high vision and a high dream. So this is why they're doing what they're doing. By the way, with Bernie's chart, we do not have an accurate birth time. We don't have a birth time at all. There's some speculation that he's born around 1 p.m., according to some sources. So I just did the chart for 12 noon. But what happens with Bernie is that his Mars just happened to be stationary when he was born. So it's hardly moving at all. This is the speed of the planets in the Navamsa chart. The planets are moving 9 times faster than in the natal chart. So the sun is moving about 9 degrees a day. It moves only 1 degree a day in the normal chart. Everything's moving 9 times faster. And even in the Navamsa chart, Mars is almost perfectly stationary, retrograde 15 minutes a day. Mars happened to be stationary, on the day Bernie was born, and therefore we know pretty accurately where Mars is. So it's definitely there. So we got lucky. It doesn't happen often that an inner planet is almost exactly stationary. But even though we don't know his time, the Mars, Uranus, Neptune is there for the whole day, which is unusual. Most things will move in and out within a few hours. So they both have the same passion. Now, they're different people. They do things differently. They have different policies. But this is not everything in their chart. I'm just looking at one configuration and how similar they are. Now, here's a tri-wheel where I have put Barack Obama in the inner ring, Joe Biden in the middle ring, Bernie on the outer ring, all Navamsa charts. And here in orange is what I showed you before between the charts of Obama and Biden. Again, that's Obama in the middle, Biden in the middle ring, and there's that Mars to Sun configuration going on. What's interesting is that Bernie's Mercury and Venus are aligned with this configuration along with Obama's Mercury. So Obama's Mercury at almost 21 degrees Aries and Bernie's Mercury 24 degrees Libra are part of these configurations. I'm not going to get into technical details of orbs here. I discussed that in other videos. I want to just emphasize the basic theme is that all three of these people are Democrats. They're running in the Democratic Party. The Democrats emphasize 9 vibration. 9 vibration is the glue that holds the Democratic Party together. So if you have a club or a group, suppose you're in a choir or something, or you're on an athletic team like a softball team or a basketball team, there's a glue, there's a connectedness, there's a vibration and particular planets that draw you together. It's so fascinating in vibrational astrology to see what it is. What is this vibration that these guys or gals, whoever it is, who are playing basketball, what is it? It's going to usually involve Mars when it's athletic activity, but Mars has anything to do with taking action. And we see what it is that's bonding Obama, Biden. Biden in his campaign now is sometimes saying Obama, Biden. He's emphasizing that. And we see astrologically what a strong team they are. And we're seeing that Bernie is not so completely different, actually. Just like Biden, he has a Mars, Uranus, Neptune, and Bernie connects to Biden and Obama with his Mercury, Venus. So this shows that there's hope that in this campaign that Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden can debate the issues, can come head on, but realize that they're actually not so completely different, and just highlight what the differences are. And just in the last few days, I think Bernie's been emphasizing this. We want to be issue-oriented. Of course, some of the people who support a candidate get out of control, but I think there's hope that I think it's likely that Biden and Sanders will have a more respectful dialogue because they're connected. They're not as closely connected as Obama and Biden as we expect. Obama-Biden is a partnership made in heaven. It's, Obama really picked the right vice president for him. Excuse me. So the bottom line is the Navamsa chart is showing how people orient to the community, to the neighborhood, how they think about serving the community, connecting things together. That's a big theme in the Democratic Party. In other videos, I've emphasized how it's strong in the charts of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and other people. And there we see the dynamics of what's going on. So Biden is doing the right thing now by showing that close connection with Obama and how they are, cut from the same cloth, so to speak, and continuing that tradition. If that makes sense to the people, if that feels right, then Biden moves forward. But he's doing exactly what the energy tells us. Now, by the way, why is Bernie so different? So do you want to feel the burn, as people like to say? Well, here's the burn, 13 vibration. In the 13 vibration chart, Bernie Sanders has Mars, Uranus, Pluto in a grand trine, very tight. And what does Uranus, Pluto mean? Revolution. Mars, Uranus, Pluto, revolution. 13 vibration, bold, move forward. So in another video, I emphasize that 13 vibration is a key issue in 2016, also 2020, and for a few more years. 13 vibration is strong, and people with strong 13 vibration energy, like Bernie Sanders, and also Donald Trump, also Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They're all very different. I mean, Trump and Sanders are on opposite ends of the spectrum, but they're both 13 vibration, and the Democratic Party has had to incorporate more 13 vibration qualities in order to move forward. So, as I already predicted, Bernie will not go away in the 2020 Democratic primary elections. I made that prediction about a week ago, and as of today, I think everybody has dropped out. Tulsi Gabbard is still, I think, technically still running, but of course, she's not going to get many votes. So it's really, I believe that Elizabeth Warren just dropped out this morning on March 5th, and it's come down to the two, which is what I predicted, that Bernie will not go away. And I also had stated in the previous video that Bernie's campaign has some big challenges, and I listed 5 specific challenges. And that Biden, because of the way he was conducting himself in the debates, would really, really continue to be very, very strong, and that he's heading in the right direction, and now that's obvious. So we can see all these momentums, we can see what's happening, we can see why it's the Obama-Biden vibration, and why Biden is working the way he does, and why Bernie, with his strong 13 vibration, in addition to 9 vibration, is really bolder, stronger, and more extreme. So who's going to win? We always want to know who will win, and I cannot tell you who will win. It's going to depend on how many people feel the Obama-Biden Democratic way versus the Bernie 13 vibe revolution. That's the big difference. I didn't show you Biden and Obama's 13 vibration chart, but it's not like Bernie's. So they're not into this more revolutionary, extreme approach. So it's going to depend. A lot of the older people, a lot of the people who are trying to build healing and integration and can feel the story of Joe Biden, are voting for Joe Biden. The young people under, say, 30 years old, are voting overwhelmingly for Bernie Sanders. And Bernie has always said it depends on getting enough people out to vote. So we're seeing that the Democratic Party is getting pulled in 2 directions. The Democratic Party traditionally has been 9 vibration. It's been that way for decades. And now, when Neptune and Pluto went into 13 vibration, as I described in a video I recently made, the Democratic Party is being required, you could say, to incorporate 13 vibration, just like the Republican Party with Donald Trump. But for the Democratic Party, it's a big jump, going from 9 vibration of being more humanitarian, more humanistic, more on a pleasant psychological way, not to be very confrontive, to just kind of pat everybody on the shoulder and try to make things nice, to this 13 vibration coming in, which is bolder, sharper, less concerned about being pleasant and accommodating. And that's what we're getting coming into the Democratic Party. So if the Democratic Party resists and keeps fighting the introduction of people like Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, it's going to create more and more tension in the party and could create real problems. And even Elizabeth Warren as well is bringing in that 13 vibration, what can we call it, a theme into the Democratic Party and into politics and into life, because Neptune and Pluto are in 13 vibration. So there's no alternative. It's destiny. Neptune and Pluto are in 13 vibration. That's where things are headed. So let me just say one more last thing about this. I have not predicted who would win, whether it would be Biden or Obama, Biden or Sanders. And sometimes people get disappointed and they say, you're an astrologer, tell me what's going to happen. But is that really the job of astrologers, to predict as if we have a crystal ball? And my view of astrology, at least as I do it, not necessarily how other people do it, but the way I do astrology and it's the most standard approach in vibrational astrology, as well as some other kinds of astrology, is that we're life coaches. We're helping people decide. So often when you go to an astrologer, the astrologer describes you, and they say, oh, you have Mars in Aries, so you're aggressive and so on. However they come up with it, as you may know, my interpretations of the planets and the zodiac signs are quite a bit different, or I shouldn't just say I, but in vibrational astrology, they're quite a bit different. There's some similarities to the usual meanings. But the point is this: rather than the astrologer emphasizing a description, this is what you're like, or simply forecasting this is what's going to happen, like an as above, so below, what most of us in vibrational astrology do, and some astrologers and other kinds of astrology as well, is our function is not so much to describe things and forecast things. We do that, but not with that as the direct goal and purpose. Our real goal is to develop strategies for success with whatever the client wants to succeed in. So, for example, if Bernie Sanders wants to become the candidate for the Democratic Party, I think he does. If Joe Biden does, I am sure he does. Obviously, they want to. As astrologers, we can help them do the right things, make the right decisions to succeed in their goal. And in doing that, we do have to describe things, we do have to see trends, but it's a lot of brainstorming, and we take in a lot of information about what's going on. You know, what are the polls saying? We can use more information than just astrology, combine it together, and we can see the path forward. So, I've predicted likely outcomes. They've almost always come true. You know, when I said that Bernie's not going away, that Biden's coming on strong, he will continue to come on strong, that the other candidates have made some real kind of blunders there, and so that's what's happening. So now we're left with these two main candidates, and let me go back to this, that right now I think Biden is on a strong momentum forward, but Bernie, if enough young people vote, if he straightens out some of his messages, he could win as well. And also keep this in mind that even if Biden wins, he gets the nomination, and Bernie does not, then people like Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Elizabeth Warren, they've changed the Democratic Party permanently. Under this Neptune-Pluto 13 vibration, the Democratic Party has changed and incorporating more of a 13 vibration quality, and it's taken on the specific characteristics and qualities and the platform and the specific policies that people like this, like Biden, Ocasio-Cortez, and Warren, have promoted. And it's inevitable, and it's the Democratic Party must incorporate these themes and the style into the way they function, or they're just going to lose hugely. And Biden has adapted. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten tougher about how he presents things and less compromising, and even trying to take the upper hand, like I'm stronger on gun control than Bernie. That is an adaptation he's done, and it's required. Otherwise, he would not be doing as well as he is. And also in the election, the Democrats must incorporate some of these qualities very clearly to win, because otherwise they just look weak. You know, as Trump likes to say, do nothing Democrats. So, whether you find that view of the Democratic Party absurd or you favor it, that's not what I'm talking about here. In these videos I make about politics, I'm not emphasizing what I think. That's not important, and I don't want to even go into that. I hope most of you don't even know what I think, because that's not what I'm presenting here. What I'm presenting is what the quality of the energy is and what people can get away with, so to speak, and what can work. And that label of do-nothing Democrats is exactly what will stick and what will fit to people and will cause the Democrats to lose unless they develop this strong, bold, direct profile. And that's what all of them have been emphasizing. So anyway, the Democrats are heading in the right direction in that regards. So I think that's it. Here on my last slide, I just have a statement about what a life coach is from a website that describes what life coaches are, because if any of you are life coaches or involved in it, you might be concerned that we give a proper presentation of what it is. So I'll just read this. A life coach encourages and counsels clients on a range of professional and personal issues. You would hire a coach, and I put this in bold, it's not in bold on the website, to help you with specific professional projects, personal goals, and transitions. This is very much what we do in vibrational astrology. A coach helps you grow by analyzing your current situation, identifying limiting beliefs and other potential challenges and obstacles you face, and devising a custom plan of action designed to help you achieve specific outcomes in your life. And that's very much what we do in vibrational astrology. It's very custom because it's all based on what the energetic systems are astrologically that are happening. Okay, well, final statement to summarize. The biggest point I'm making in this video is the Navamsa chart. If we don't look at the Navamsa chart, we do not see some of the most important, powerful things that are going on with Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders in this election. It's there in the Navamsa chart. The magic is in the Navamsa chart. We see these incredible similarities and relationships that it describe what the people are doing, what the biggest passion in their life is about, and what's making them get up in the morning and why they do what they do. A lot of it is right there. And we also took a little peek at where the burn is in Bernie's 13 vibration chart. We're limited in how much we can do with Bernie Sanders because we don't have a birth time right now. It's one of the few things we can say. And that's also a big reason why I'm not going to be making any forecasts for this election, because I do not have a birth time for Bernie Sanders. Without a birth time, there's very, very little we can do. If I have AA birth data for both Biden and Sanders, then I could take the time, or any astrologer, especially vibrational astrology, can take the time, look at the transits, the progressions and details, and get more precise as I did in 2016. But without a birth time, there's just so much I can do. But still, we're able to see some of these very powerful, fundamental themes, and this is why I'm so excited about vibrational astrology, because it opens the door. We're using the Navamsa chart just as is done in Vedic astrology, but we're using these vibrational ways of analyzing it. And I think we've cracked the code to open this door to a deeper, clearer understanding of how astrology works. And when I say we, I mean the whole history of astrologers. It's one person adding one little brick to the wall and another little brick, and we, in this 21st century, we finally made these breakthroughs to synthesize what so many people have discovered through the ages into a system that really is clear and helpful. Okay, thank you very much for listening, my friends. God bless. Namaste.